Before I begin, the second part of this review will have spoilers in them. Also, if you see the movie, just keep these two words in mind: baby legs. Deadpool's relationship with Vanessa is the catalyst for this film. After suffering a tragedy, Wade goes through all of the stages of grief and has to figure out just what is family. Ugh. Sorry, that was a bad description. Here are some of the things I liked in the film. The selection of music is good here, as in the first film. It trumps Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 in that way at least. I really like the action scenes and the callbacks from the comics. I believe I missed a couple, and that alone is maybe a good reason enough to see the film again. I really like the action montage at the start of the film. Really, all the action in the film is really good, which makes sense seeing that the director is one of the co-directors of the first John Wick film and also directed Atomic Blonde last year. Once again, Ryan Reynolds does well in the dramatic scenes of the film. When he had to turn on a dime from funny to serious, it was great. He joked a few times in the film that this is for Oscar consideration, but I could see him winning an Oscar in the future, if you care about that stuff anyway. Okay, I gotta talk about the soundtrack again. The X-Force remix to the Deadpool theme is hilarious. I actually like this version of the Deadpool theme better than the original one. This soundtrack trumps the Guardians 2 soundtrack because it just seemed that in Guardians Volume 2 they were trying too hard. The music didn't really flow together with the action. Also, one more thing I really liked in here. There's a joke that happens right before the third act begins that's easily the funniest moment in the film. I laughed so much that I started crying and everyone in the audience laughed at it. And that scene, it's probably about 15 minutes long. It keeps getting funnier and funnier. Here's the hint of what the joke is. Baby legs. Just baby legs. Just remember that and thank me later. Now, as far as the negatives, the comedy isn't as great as the first film. I think part of this may have to do with that there's a different director than the first film. The first film's director didn't come back for reasons. Another thing I didn't really like is the supporting characters like Domino. They get the occasional moment to shine, but it just felt like there wasn't that much to them. The X-Force movie is supposed to be going to production later this fall, so hopefully in that film they'll play more of a major role. Speaking of the supporting characters, James Brolin was okay as Cable, but not spectacular. At least in the first half of the film, he actually got better as the film went on. When he had another person in the scene where he could bounce off of, he was actually really good. I do recommend this film. Overall, I would give this film a B and the first one an A. It's not as strong as the first film. The first half also seemed to be edited a bit haphazardly. However, the second half of the film is tighter and more cohesive. The film just seemed to get stronger as it went on. The opening tragedy did shock me and I thought it was going to be mostly forgotten later on, but thankfully it played a big part in the film's narrative. I also liked how Wade had a believable character arc in this film. Now I'm going to go into some of my thoughts and just some random things that was going on in my head while I was watching the film. So, spoilers. Number 1. Seriously? Is Zazie Beetz her real name? Also, am I the only one that whenever I hear her name, the first thing that comes to mind is the Japanese anime Trigun? Remember the joke in the first film about how empty the X-Mansion was and where all the X-Men were? It's called back here. I just want to know though, was Beast played by Kelsey Grammer in this film? I really hope so. He's the best Beast. It looks like the Juggernaut has received an upgrade from the X3 film. Also, while the CGI was a bit wonky on him at times, I did like the design and the accent that they gave Juggernaut. Also, the Juggernaut theme was hilarious as well. Now, I've only seen one trailer of the film and none of the movie reviews before I saw the film, so I wasn't spoiled for the film except for Brad Pitt's appearance in the film. Gee, thanks, Internet. So the fact that the Juggernaut is in the film was a welcome surprise to me. However, isn't everyone in the icebox supposed to be a mutant? Juggernaut isn't a mutant. How was it possible to keep them in storage? Now, it's been a moment since I've seen the first film, but is Wade a mutant? Did those experiments that killed Brew and Ajax do to him in the first film jumpstart his powers? Because that's the only thing I can think of, considering how those inhibitor leashes cancel out only mutant abilities. How does Deadpool's powers work in this universe? Sometimes he can heal instantly and other times it takes a while. I know sometimes it's done as a way to make a joke, see baby legs, but it does come off as inconsistent. An example would be the Juggernaut rips Wade in half. He doesn't die because of course he doesn't, but the top part of his body regrows the bottom part. Wouldn't it also be possible for the bottom part of him to regrow the top part? So there could be possibly another Deadpool running around there sometime. Also, why did Domino only take the top part of his body? She could have just put both of them together and he would have healed in minutes instead of, I don't know, hours, days. But I guess we wouldn't have had the funniest joke in the film then. Time travel. How does it even work? It looks like for this particular film, it works under Back to the Future logic. But if Cable's wife and daughter, Hope, I see what you did there movie, are alive at the end, wouldn't that affect him being in the past? Also, the mid-credit scene, while very funny, wouldn't that also mean that 90% of this film didn't happen then? I know when it comes to the Fox X-Men universe, they don't care about continuity, but this is important. Also, if most of this film didn't happen because of the end credit scenes, does that mean that the X-Force movie is going to be everyone's first time meet each other again? Well, despite all that, like I said, I recommend this film. I enjoyed it. I may have to see it again. I might enjoy it even more because initially when I saw the first Deadpool film, I liked it, but I started liking it even more as I continue to think about it through the year. And if you like this review, then please comment below, share, subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to help out even more, then you can check out my Patreon and donate there. And until next time, have a good day. Oh yeah, and one more thing. If you like the film, start reading his comic book series. No?